What if I told you there was an actual family in Japan today that can be traced back to demon lineage? And not just, oh, it's a fun family myth. No, government documented. Shogunate-approved tax exemptions. An inn they're still running. Dietary taboos their kids still follow to this day. That's just Chapter 1. Welcome to Whispered Warnings. Today we talk about the Japanese legends that refused to stay fictional. Old folklore with real graves, real relics, and real people still living inside the story, whether they asked to or not. So get comfortable. This one's going to stay with you. So here's the thing about legends. They're supposed to stay in the fog. You tell them around a fire. You get spooked. You go home. You sleep with the lights on for one night. And then you move on with your life. That's the deal. Some stories have the audacity to leave evidence. And I don't mean a guy once said he saw something evidence. I mean artifacts in museums, government land grants, a family running an inn to this day, a volcanic rock that was splitting open people's skulls while simultaneously being the location of an actual, verifiable gas leak that has killed animals as recently as 2022. Yeah, we're doing this. These are 5 Japanese legends that refused to stay fictional. Every single one of them is backed by classical literature, archaeological records, active cultural practices, or, in one memorable case, dead wild boars. Let's go. Deep in the Ikoma and Omine mountain ranges near Nara, there used to be a demon couple, husband and wife, and they were doing terrible things, specifically stealing children. Classic demon behavior. Genuinely awful. Nobody's defending it. Their names were Zenki and Goki. The mystic En no Gyoja, basically the founding father of Japanese mountain asceticism, finally caught them. And how he did it is very on brand for someone who spent his life meditating on mountaintops. He didn't fight them. He captured their youngest child and hid it in an iron cauldron. And then he just waited. Turns out demons feel grief too. Forced to sit with the agony of losing a child, Zenki and Goki had a complete spiritual awakening. They converted to Buddhism, became the mystic's 2 most devoted disciples, and eventually settled down in the remote village of Shimokitoyama, where they had 5 children and, I can only assume, became the most protective parents in the history of the Omine Mountains. Those 5 children founded what became known as the Gokigen families. For generations, they guarded the sacred pilgrimage sites of Mount Omine, maintaining the routes, running the lodges, protecting the travelers. The shogunate, during the Edo period, officially recognized them. They received tax exemptions, government privileges, in writing, because of their demon lineage. This bloodline is still active. The Gokisuke family, direct descendants of Zenki and Goki, still maintains a historic lodge called the Kunakabo in the Zenki settlement of Shimokitoyama village today. Here's how you know the memory is real and not just a fun story the family tells at dinner. The cultural taboos are hyper-specific. During Setsubun, Japanese Spring Festival, The entire country chants, "Demons out," while throwing beans. But in the Zenki settlement, either silence or demons in. Because here, demons are grandma and grandpa. In the nearby settlement of Anjoji Kaito, the descendants won't eat steamed rice dumplings or diamond-shaped rice cakes during seasonal festivals. Not, "We don't really like them." Not, "We forgot why, but we still do it." A specific food, a specific shape, maintained for centuries. You don't keep that kind of detail alive unless you genuinely believe where you came from. Story number 2. The Hollow Boat. February 22nd, 1803. Off the Harayadori coast of Hitachi province, a group of fishermen see something strange in the water. Round, like an incense burner. Sealed, floating. They tow it to shore. Inside is a young woman. She's somewhere between 18 and 20 years old. Her skin is described as pale pink, almost snow white. Her lips are deep red. Her hair and eyebrows are vivid crimson, elongated with white extensions made of what appears to be animal fur or fine thread. She has never, in her life, heard Japanese spoken before. The fishermen have never heard whatever language she's speaking. She is holding a pale wooden box. She will not let anyone touch the box. She won't let anyone near it. She won't explain what's inside. She's frightened and exhausted, and she will not let go of that box for anything. This is documented, not in one source, in several independent Edo period manuscripts, respected texts. Cross-referenced accounts describe the same craft, the same woman, the same box. A local elder pieced together a theory. He believed she was a foreign princess, exiled by her father for a forbidden romance. Her lover had been executed, his head placed inside the box, and she was cast out to sea to let fate decide what happened to her. Whether that theory is right, we genuinely don't know. But the detail that she refused to release the box, even surrounded by strangers in an alien country, does suggest she was protecting something she considered irreplaceable. And here is the part that still bothers me. The villagers decided they didn't want to deal with the political and financial burden of a formal investigation. So they put her back in the boat. They towed her back out into the Pacific, and they left her there. We don't know who she was. We don't know what was in the box. We don't know where she went. What we do know is that this was not an isolated event. Records describe eerily similar hollow boat sightings. Round, sealed crafts, strange occupants, spanning from the 7th century all the way to 1883, over 1,000 years. The same description, appearing again and again in the coastal records of a country that kept meticulous documentation of unusual things. Make of that what you will. Story number 3. The worst thing ever happened by accident. Her name was Iwate. She was a nurse, a caretaker, to an aristocratic princess in Kyoto. And she was devoted to this child in the way that some people are devoted. Completely, without condition, at great personal cost. When the princess was struck mute by a congenital illness with no cure, Iwate went to a fortune teller. The verdict was brutal. The only remedy? The warm liver of an unborn child. Iwate didn't hesitate. She left her own young daughter behind, left her, and traveled north to the cave country near what is now Nihonmatsu, Fukushima Prefecture. There she waited. For years, in a damp cave, for pregnant travelers to pass by. She waited long enough that she became something else entirely, something monstrous from loneliness and purpose, twisted by grief. She became the Onibaba, the demon hag of Adachigahara. And then, one night, a pregnant woman came to the cave, seeking shelter from a storm. Iwate bound her. She did what she had been waiting years to do afterward, going through the woman's belongings. Iwate found a small protective amulet, one she recognized, one she had given to her daughter, her own daughter, the one she had left behind so many years ago. As a parting gift, she had killed her daughter. Her daughter had been pregnant. She had killed them both. Grief of that knowledge broke whatever was left of Iwate's humanity entirely. She became a demon in the truest sense. Not supernatural, destroyed. The reason I'm telling you this story isn't just because it's heartbreaking. It's because you can go to Mayumizan Kanzeji Temple in Nihonmatsu today and see the cave where Iwate lived. A real cave. A real stone formation. Damp the way the texts describe it. Preserved within the temple grounds. The temple also houses a dedicated museum. Inside, the actual rusted deba knife, the clay jar, the iron hoe used to dig her grave. Not replicas, not artistic recreations. The objects themselves, kept for centuries, because the people of that region decided this story was too important, too human to let fade. Story 4. The monster that haunts a city crest. Summer 1153. Kyoto. Emperor Konoe starts having nightmares. Every night, an enormous black cloud settles over the imperial palace. There's a sound coming from it. Eerie, sorrowful, unsettling. The whole city is on edge. The source? A Nue, which is, and I cannot stress enough how much ancient Japan committed to the bit on this creature, a monster with the head of a monkey, the body of a tanuki, the limbs of a tiger, and the finishing touch, a venomous snake where its tail should be. It's like someone asked a child to design a nightmare and then said, "Yes, perfect. We're going with that." The court called in their best archer, Minamoto no Yorimasa, who fired an arrow blind into the black cloud over the palace and somehow hit the Nue directly. The creature fell. The nightmare stopped. But here's where it gets interesting. You can't just leave a cursed chimera lying in the imperial capital. The vengeful spirit needed to go somewhere. So the citizens put the body on a boat and pushed it down the Kamo River to let it become someone else's problem. It became Osaka's problem. The carcass washed ashore on the Yodo River, and the locals there gave the Nue a proper burial noun, which honestly was very decent of them. For centuries, the mound sat there, quiet, until the early Meiji period, when it was demolished during city development, after which unexplained illnesses, fires, enough of them happening fast enough that by 1870, the city rebuilt the mound in a hurry and apologized to whatever was inside it. Part that gets me though, in 1980, fully modern Japan, the port of Osaka adopted the Nue as its official municipal coat of arms, styled like a European heraldic beast on an official government emblem. A city looked at the monster that wrecked their burial mound and killed people and said, actually, that's our guy now, and I respect it enormously. Story number 5. Do not cross that bridge on your honeymoon. During the reign of Emperor Saga, a noblewoman found out her husband was cheating on her. Now, most people in that situation cry, eat something bad for them, call a friend. This woman went to Kifune Shrine and prayed directly to the deity to turn her into a living demon so she could kill everyone involved. Which, honestly, as a human response to betrayal, I have to say is thorough. The deity, and I want you to understand that this deity said yes, gave her instructions. Soak in the Uji River Rapids for 21 days. Part your hair into 5 distinct horns. Paint your face and body red. Place an iron tripod upside down on your head with burning pine torches on its legs. Run through the streets of Kyoto. She did all of that, every step, without complaint. She then killed her husband, his new lover, and eventually anyone she envied. She became the Hashihime, the bridge princess, and when she finally died, terrified locals enshrined her at the west end of Uji Bridge as a guardian deity. Because at some point, the only thing left to do with that energy is give it a job. Here's where the legend lives on today in a way you genuinely cannot ignore. It is considered an absolute, serious social taboo in the Uji area for newlyweds or engaged couples to cross Uji Bridge together. Not, it's a little bad luck. Not, some people think, maybe, an absolute taboo. Because the Hashihime's jealousy is believed to fracture the relationship and cause divorce. The shrine has also, in a delightful pivot, become one of the most popular destinations in the region for people who want to cut ties with unfaithful partners, bad habits, or toxic relationships. The deity of scorned women is now also the deity of closure. I think she'd be pleased with that. You know what gets me? Every single one of these stories is documented, written down, preserved, passed down for centuries by real people who decided it was worth remembering. That's not nothing. That's actually kind of extraordinary. But here's what I keep thinking about. What were they trying to tell us? Like underneath the demons and the cursed stones and the woman in the boat, nobody helped. What's the actual lesson? Is it about grief, loyalty, What jealousy can turn you into? What happens when we ignore things we shouldn't? I have my own thoughts, but I want to know yours. Drop it in the comments. Genuinely, because I think that's where the real conversation happens. Not up here, down there with you guys. This is Whispered Warnings. I'm really glad you stayed. I'll see you at the next fire.